Round 3 of more things you didn't know in Tears of the Kingdom. We're diving into secrets about the map of Hyrule, hidden armor properties, tricks with the Eightfold Longblade, and much more. So if you're still learning new things from this series, just let us know with a like. Let's go. Zonai weapons have a special ability to increase base damage when a Zonai item is fused. This includes many obvious things, such as every construct horn, Zonai devices, flux construct cores and blocks, but also even ruined Rubble sets this effect off as well. Very specific Lizalfos in Tears of the Kingdom may have something weird happen to them. Some will switch elements entirely. This is because some Lizalfos have special day and night cycles. During the day, they become Flame Lizalfos, and at night, they switch to Ice Lizalfos. In case you're wondering, no, it's not the same one switching elements, it's actually two different ones, with one taking the graveyard shift. Most players by now have explored down a chasm in Hyrule and found themselves in the depths. The depths is pretty interesting though, because it is a mirror of the surface of Hyrule in more ways than one. Not only are the shrines and light routes connected top to bottom, the chasm itself is topographically mirrored as well, meaning flat deserts are flat down below, but mountainous regions above become massive canyons below to mirror the lands above. These also include a bunch of special locations and key points, such as Zelda's memorials above ghost soldier clusters, Lionel's located below horse stables, the Bloopy Burrow below Satori Mountain, and the inverted ponds below Lover's Pond. Honestly, there's dozens more to list. Also, the names of connected light routes and shrines are mirrors of each other. On the same topic of shrine names, what was harder to figure out is the origin of the names themselves. As some might know from Breath of the Wild, Hyrule is roughly based on the map of Kyoto. But if you layered the map of Tears of the Kingdom surface on top of Kyoto, many of these shrines are named after real key locations that are close to them on the map. These names are then anagrammed, such as Sagi no Mori Shrine, which moved around is Mogisari Shrine. Yamanouchi Station is Maya-Chin Shrine, Katakihara Temple Ruins is Kara-Hatag Shrine, etc. There are so many more examples, so if you want to check them out for yourself, I'll link the map in the description. When exploring the overworld, you can change the map level, unpause, then have that level saved to your minimap, so then you can see your position in reference to other layers of the map. Did you know that only in low gravity areas, bullet time shots take much less stamina? Not only can Gleeok fireballs be parried and reflected, but they can also be sent back with spring-fused shields as well. Much easier. Alright, now let's talk about multiple basic and advanced tricks you can pull off with Wind Cleavers. Eightfold Longblades. Sorry. Fusing elemental blades of any kind, such as dragon horns, Lizalfos horns, or even Keith's wings, will change the wind blade projectile to that element type. You can also jump attack with these blades to create a vertical slash instead of a normal horizontal slash. While many fused materials don't really do anything special with these blades, one surprisingly does. Muddle Buds. When fused, the wind blade projectile actually creates the muddling effect, and can be used over and over, as long as you don't directly touch the enemy. A final funny trick you can pull off is simply fusing a rocket to an Eightfold Longblade, then performing a spin attack. Since these blades aren't supposed to really spin attack, it will create multiple Windslashes in a circle as long as you have the stamina for it. A true whirlwind. There's an effect on certain materials which give weapons the bouncy effect, letting Link launch enemies into oblivion. But the interesting thing about this effect is the name of the effect in the game's files, which is called PowHammer, also known as Pikohan. It refers to the red squeaky toy hammers, which I think they should have added the sound effect as well. If you remember from Breath of the Wild, King Rhoam's grave sits on top of Mount Hylia, which was confirmed in the book Creating a Champion. But in Tears of the Kingdom, they also placed his sword next to the grave, which they decided to be the Royal Claymore, since this was his weapon of choice from another game, Age of Calamity. Some players may remember this crazy flower lady, aka Flower Blight Ganon. In the sequel, she's seen trying to rebuild her garden, and as usual, gets angry when her flowers are hurt. This time though, she does appreciate when you water her flowers, but also specifically doesn't appreciate it when you water her flowers as it's raining, as she says they're drowning instead. So damn picky. Here's a couple niche secrets about some select armor pieces in the game. Both the Tunic of Memories and the Champion's Leathers have an unlisted passive which allows Link to use the Master Sword beam without being at full health. If players remember from Breath of the Wild, if you kick a treasure chest without shoes on, Link will hold his feet in pain. Well, 2 lower pieces of armor still hurt Link's feet, the Charged Trousers and the Mystic Trousers. There's other open-toed shoes that don't do the same though, so it's not very consistent. The Froggy set from the Lucky Clover Gazette has a strange unlisted property you likely never knew. Besides its main slip-resistant passive to help keep Link from sliding while climbing, the hidden passive is that you can stay wet for longer. This can keep hot deserts or burning mountain air at bay for a longer period of time. Here's an easy, fun trick you can try out. If you come across a tall waterfall, try lining yourself up in front of it. Then do a jump attack with a freezing weapon down the waterfall. You'll get a cool ice shard shower. Many new players may have had this problem with floating platforms. Fusing a rocket motor to the bottom will have the rocket motor fizzle out, while other times it just works fine. That's because rockets need room to breathe, and this crisscross material here is called mesh lattices, which have a special property. They allow special effects to pass through the lattice while still blocking physical objects. The developers created a musical secret with Zonai stakes. Depending on how deep the stake is in the ground, this will change its pitch. And if you have the patience, you can make your own song. They actually added even more depth to it by getting deeper pitches, depending on how many stakes are attached together, with a max of 4 for the deepest pitch. They didn't have to do this, but they did. Did you know that there's a secret covered up hole at the Rito village chasm? This area is covered by tiles, and if you clip below, you can find the hidden chasm. Weird thing is, there's a single puff shroom down here as well. Here's a couple gameplay tips to get you extra distance while paragliding. If you dive with the Wingsuit, press B, then paraglide, you'll get a nice boost of horizontal speed and travel further. Also, while using Tulin, a technique called Tulin Pumping can get you some extra distance. By switching between X and B while getting boosted by Tulin, you can get much better distance results. Did you know that you can use water globules to easily take down any enemies by drowning them inside? Have you tried fusing Hudson's Cutout to your shield? You can get a ton of interesting responses from a variety of NPCs by showing them your fancy shield. Cloyne, the gambling guy in Lurelin Village, loves his roasted porgies, which you can cook yourself or pick up from right down the beach for some extra free prizes. If you try to sell Cece's hat back to her, she'll actually reluctantly take it back. Or if you change her mind, she'll be relieved instead. For the final facts, we're gonna show some secrets about Gloom hands and Ganondorf's past, so spoiler warning here. When up against Gloom hands, an eerie red sky appears over Hyrule. Well, this is actually a special type of nighttime, and certain items will glow in the dark, such as Silent Princess, Luminous Stones, Nightshade, and more. Did you know that you can also Flurry Rush Gloom hands? When defeating Phantom Ganon after the Gloom hands, dark clumps are dropped along with some Gloom weapons. These Gloom weapons, if you look closely, have some secret text inscribed, which is not Gerudo text. It's actually highly stylized Japanese katakana of the name Kotake and Koume, the 2 elemental witches from Ocarina of Time, whose names are also featured on Ganondorf's sword in The Wind Waker. Cool thing is, you actually see them in several cutscenes in Tears of the Kingdom behind Ganondorf. Kotake with a sapphire on her forehead, and Koume with a ruby on her forehead, and their sashes also mirror their headband from Ocarina of Time. While we barely got to see them, we can only hope that in some future DLC, we can see their story fleshed out. There you go, more interesting things in Tears of the Kingdom, and honestly, we've got a long way to go. Let us know your favorite fact you learned this time, and of course, for more Tears of the Kingdom content, stay right here on GameSpot.